Hello fam, thank you so much for finding time to join me once again, and thank you so much for your support and your positive feedback that I've been receiving. Today's video is about how I made a clock using miniature billiards. And once again, this is your boy Ino from Innocent Signature Builds, the real tool whisperer. So without wasting much time, let's jump right in, and I hope you enjoy. And for those who consider subscribing, please do, because when you do that, I get so much energy to keep moving forward and grow my channel. Thank you so much, and let's jump right in. Well guys, on this day I'd found a piece of scrap wood next to where I'd parked my bike, and then I thought, what can I do? It looks really nice, it was really circular. And then in the workshop I had these miniature balls that I've been wanting to do something with it for a very long time. Without wasting much time, I went to the workshop, took out the rulers and marked out the readings for the clock, made them as accurate as I can possibly be, because it's a clock, so it has to read the exact time, and it has to be as perfect and as accurate as any clock. So right here I was finding the right markings, and because it had an elevated piece of wood, I had to drop the marking to the lower piece. That's why I was using two combination squares. After I finished, I took out the center finder. So this is to help me draw the lines, every single line pointing to the center of the circle. Adjust the height so that I can capture the center, so that when I line the billiard balls, so they can be in a perfect arrangement. So right there I'm going around marking them, and then took my giant compass and put on the carpenter's pencil, and then marked on one single circle. So this is so that where they meet, they align themselves the same distance from the edge. Then I proceeded to my press drill, and then I went ahead, used a drill bit, a Forstner drill bit that is the same width as the balls. Then I drilled 12 at every intersection of the circle that I drew, and the markings pointing to the center of the circle. And here I'm using a jig that I bought many years ago, so it helps me to secure anything on the drill bit, whether circular, rectangular, irregular. And then here I'm using the compressed air to clear the chippings so that I can find the markings accurately. After that, I went to after this one I went, and then I tried to see which one doesn't fit properly, and then I ran it one more time. Then I finished all the 12 holes. It's quite an interesting project because I didn't plan for it, I didn't do any designing. It was just straight off the head. Like, I just say, like, let me just go with it, see where the project takes me. So I had no prior plan, I didn't draw, but one thing I had was the miniature balls that I bought sometimes back, that I've been wanting to do for project, but I think this was the right one. This was the perfect timing. and I like the idea of having a smaller circular wood on top of a bigger circular wood. So it was really, in my mind, it looked perfect even before I began. Then I went to the sanding block, because all these balls are spherical and the contact glue needs to have as much surface area as possible to grab it between the ball and the wood. So I went to the sanding block and then roughed out one edge. I took like an eighth of the base to create a flat surface on the ball. I went round and round, and the reason why I'm using the rubber insulated gloves is the sandpaper is really rough and can take off the skin from your fingers. So I was very careful. Even if I'm moving very fast, I was really careful not to leave my fingers on the sandpaper. And believe me, the gloves lost some rubber to the sandpaper, but that's their use. And then these balls really have I think they're made from plastic, a toxic plastic, so they have a smell. So I had to put the protective gear. I covered my nose, and then I kept the vacuum running, because as I was scratching them, they were giving me some crazy fumes, cleaning my sandpaper. And then I continued. So here I did a test run to see how they will fit. And as you can see, the circle that I drew and the lines intersect at a perfectly mathematical position that make them to be a perfect clock. Then I went back to the drill press to make the space for the clock engine. And the reason why I first drill is to give the palm router relief cuts, because I don't want to give it so much punishment when I'm routing out the space for the clock engine. So I went just random holes. These were random holes to fill in the square where the clock engine sits. Finished. Took it back to my main workbench. Secured them. Secured the blank and the piece of wood with a layout. Then I went to the palm router, and then I removed the excess, and then I shaped the space until the engine could sit in flat and flush. And the palm router is really noisy and intimidating for somebody who hasn't used it before. So that's why I used the ear protective. Then I went back to sanding, and I've done quite on dust collection, so I like to collect sawdust at the source. It helps my workshop to be tidy, less dusty, and yeah, it looks like really good. Also good for breathing. So now it was time to do some paint job. So I took it outside to a very well ventilated area. Then I thought maybe I'll make the back to be black, because the original piece of wood had some black marks that I couldn't sand off. And I thought I can give it a makeover, like the front to be live wood and then at the back to be black. Then I proceeded to my leather working bench. Then I had a piece of Louis Vuitton leather that I've been holding on to for I think a year now. So I took strips of leather to fit the exact thickness of the edges of the wood, because I didn't want to paint the edges. Then I took the special glue that car automakers use to stick the fabric inside in the interior of the car. I found it online. Then I attached the Louis Vuitton leather around the edge. I like the idea, like it was giving it an artistic look. Instead of having it like to be plain wood, it was giving it character and accent. After that, I put a rubber band to hold it together until the glue sets in. And I really like the glue because it really helps grab leather with other materials, because mostly we have glue for leather, just for leather, and glues for other materials, but this one is a blend. It can attach leather to anything, and it really works. Then I also aged the smaller circle with the same technique, leather, Louis Vuitton leather, and then clamped it down with a rubber band. And then so far, I think the project was going great. And as I said earlier, I didn't plan for it, but I was really liking how it was coming out. It was really popping, and myself, I was in awe. I was feeling great that sometimes you can do a project that you didn't have a plan before, but every step it comes out, it's like you've done it before. Something like you borrowing notes from the parallel universe, from the other version. That's how I tend to think about it. Then I went back to 2-part epoxy glue, and this was the fun part. I was just dropping the balls in, securing them, and then making sure they don't come out. So I was beginning with the cardinal points. I began with 1, then I began with 12, went down to 6, then secured a 9, and then a 3. And then since I have those 4 cardinal points, then I can just fill in the other numbers, because if you go around, I think you have a higher chance of mixing the numbers. Maybe you put 1, 5, and 3, but when you eliminate the main numbers, now you're remaining with the lesser numbers. And then I think, in my honest opinion, I think that was the perfect way to do it. Then I went round through the holes, mixed the glue, pressed the balls inside, and let the epoxy 2-part glue to cure. And I really like the epoxy glue because once it grabs like it's like no any other glue. And once it's dry, it stops being a glue, it becomes plastic. So that's the good thing. So it will no longer be glue. Then I took the test run, put in the engine. It sat perfectly flush. The protrusion was exactly as I wanted. Put in the brass bushing, run the nut, and then took some time to design the clock hands. And then I chose this one as the perfect one. At this point, the clock looked really nice. It was popping, and then I had applied a varnish on the surface, but I don't know where the video went, or maybe I didn't press the record button. But all in all, it was just an impromptu project, and I really liked it. And as always, thank you very much, and I hope you guys stick around. And this is a community where I'd hope to just explore creativity, make functional art, and cheers.